Hello, welcome to Stretch with Dave. Today we are just using a band and a chair. We are going to be mostly standing today. There's one seated exercise with the chair pigeon, but mostly standing today just to mix it up last when we were on the floor. So we're just going to start with that forward fold to that overhead reach. So I push my hips back, crawl my hands down the front of my legs. So I feel that 6 out of 10 stretch in my hamstrings. Then I stand up, pulling back on those left fingers, arms overhead, hips to the left, lean to the right, hips to the right, lean to the left. We're going to do that again. Show you from the front this time. Push my hips back, I curl my hands. The front of my legs. Again, I don't even touch the floor, and I'm just hinging from the hips, but I feel that stretch right in my hamstrings. And this time as I stand up, I'm going to pull back on my right fingers. Arms overhead, hips to the left, lean to the right. Hips to the right, lean to the left. Do that again. Show you the side here. So I hinge, right? I push my hips back. Hips back, chest stays lifted. And then I just keep my hands on the front of my legs until I feel that 6 out of 10 stretch. And then once I reach that spot, I know I'm good. You just hang out too. And as we come up, and again, I'm going to pull back on the left finger. That's what we're going to work on today, is a little bit more. See? We'll push down. We'll make it even. Hips to the left, lean to the right. Hips to the right, lean to the left. Make sure you have somebody around critiquing you. Last one here. And just pushing down on those right fingers. Arms overhead. Okay, so we have our Warrior 1, Warrior 2 next. So I mostly do these for the hips. We're going to get a little bit of shoulder movement. Make sure I stay on camera here. So I'm going to take an exaggerated step forward with my left foot. I'm going to push my hips forward. Let me show you this way here. Push my hips forward so my spine is nice and tall, and then my arms just come in line with my ears. Just looking forward. We're going to pivot out the left foot. All right, so now it's like it's 3 o'clock, and then I bring my arms to shoulder height, and I just look forward. And then you can shift into that front leg, and what that's going to do is that's going to migrate the stretch to the right adductor, or the inside of your right leg. And we can relax. Give it a bit of a shake. Take an exaggerated step forward with our, I keep doing that, with our right foot. So again, I take that step, normal. No stretch. Push my hips forward. I bring my arms in line with my ears, and now I can feel that stretch being elongated all the way down my left side. Left side is the trail leg. And I just look forward neutrally. Thumbs are pointed behind me. A lot of people are going to want to be like this, where their thumbs are facing each other. Try to get to that anatomically correct position that is more natural for our body. Hips forward, chest lifted, and then I pivot out that left foot. So now it's 9 o'clock, arms, shoulder height, and then I can lean into that front leg to get a little bit more of that adductor stretch. Okay, so we're going to grab our, nope, not quite yet. We have our arm swings next just to loosen up a little bit. So I go palms up, straight out here, and then as I cross my body, I turn my palm down, and then I alternate what arm is on top. And again, we're just trying to get some movement, some blood flowing, We've been rigid all day. It's good to squeeze the shoulder blades in the back and then hug yourself in the front. Again, these don't have to be anything so strict. Just try not to be, flopping all over the place while you're doing them. Just get a little bit of movement in. Okay, so now we will grab our band. We're going to do our band rotator cuff stretch. So come a little closer here. I have it in my right hand. My right hand will be the lower hand. And I grab the top with my left hand. And I just put tension on the top so that my right arm travels fractions of an inch, right? And that's where the stretch comes from, is that fraction of an inch. You know, a little bit of a tricep workout, not much. You get one. And this is just further driving our shoulder into external rotation, which counteracts the internal rotation that we normally feel. So again, just the left hand is going to be the bottom hand now. Right hand on top. Right hand extends, driving the left shoulder into further external rotation, which again, we are mostly internally rotated as a society, as a population, because of the way we sit, drive, eat, read, use our phone, all internally rotated. So we like to open up and counteract that. Okay. Next we have our chair hamstring, and mine becomes doubly interesting here. You don't need to use the chair for this. You could always just go onto the ground and reach forward. The chair elevates the stretch, I find, and makes it easier to do, but harder. It's a larger stretch for less movement, essentially. So I'm going to start with my left leg on the chair. I'm going to point my toe towards my shin, and my leg is straight, and then I just slightly lean forward. Handle that. I should have seen that coming a mile away. Left leg on the chair. Try not to lose your balance here. So point towards the shin, leg is straight. And I just focus on a point for balance if you have a difficulty balancing there. I lost my balance there because I wasn't looking at what I was doing. And then I'm going to turn my torso. My left leg is on the chair. I'm turning my torso towards that left leg. And that migrates the stretch. And then I'm going to pivot my right foot out, so it's 3 o'clock again. Leg is still straight, toe is still pointing towards the shin. And you can get slightly forward if you'd like. I like to stay tall on this one, nice and open. And I find that it creates the best stretch for me. It feels the best. Another thing I want to note for today, as we switch to the right leg straight, toe pointing towards the shin, looking, find your balance. The other thing I wanted to note is I'm not really in clothes that are optimal for moving, and I wanted to do that as a point of you don't need to always be in exercise clothes. You can be in everyday, office wear. You can be in your coveralls. It doesn't matter. You can get a little bit of movement in. You can still stretch. You can do some mobility. You can even do some strength or light cardio, right? It doesn't have to be, exercise doesn't always have to be all or nothing. It can be simple like that. So we're going to turn our torso now towards our right leg. And sometimes it's the simplest things that make us feel better, right? With just a little bit of movement, just do those things that's when you're done, you say, you know, I'm happy I did that. That really helped me out. If you find yourself losing balance, what you can do is you can hop your leg out a little further, as I am opening up so balance is easier, but just widening your base of support. Toe still pointed towards the shin, leg is still straight. I've just turned my torso now, and that's migrated the stretch just a little bit. But, you know, like I've said previously, you have 3 major hamstring muscles. By changing the way we're facing, we can migrate the stretch to target, you know, different muscles and not just the stereotypical one that we always stretch. We got our chair triangles next. Great way to get the rotation in. So right hand on the chair, right leg forward. Left hand is on the inside of the left knee, and I'm just going to turn and I'm going to open up. Turn and open up. We're going to do 5 of these. And I also have my leg pointed at, like, doing the 3 o'clock again. But what you can do, it's a little hard to see, so I'm going to move back a bit. So we're going to go to reverse now, which means left hand on the chair, right hand on the outside of the right knee. And I can stretch my calf at the same time here. So you see with my back leg, my heel is up. I'm going to press that heel into the ground as I do my reverse triangle. And now I'm also stretching my calf muscle on my left leg. So I am all about efficiency. You know, if there's one thing you should be efficient, we might as well get the most bang for our buck. That being said, we're going to switch sides now. So we're going to go, that was right leg forward, we're going to go left leg forward. That being said, left hand on the chair. Like for this one, it's more comfortable to have the toe out. For the reverse, it's toe forward, so you can't really stretch out your calf. While we want to be efficient, we also want to be effective. If you're not able to focus on doing the triangle stretch properly, you shouldn't add in the calf stretch so you mastered that, right? So when I go to the reverse is when I stretch the calf because it's a little bit more natural to be in this position. But if I wasn't able to do this, you know, I wouldn't try to drive my heel down and also do reverse triangle. So just some food for thought. We have our chair pitching next. So sitting on our chair on the edge, I'm going to take my left leg, I'm going to cross it over my right, slightly lean forward. Remember to breathe during all of this. You know, take a few minutes out of your day, out of your night, just to take a couple deep breaths in, deep breaths out. It's all going to be okay. Switch sides, right leg over left, slight lean forward. Now, this is like our figure 4 stretch on the ground, but I find it a lot more accessible for most people to be able to do this. If you have difficulties doing this stretch, then I usually recommend using a band on the ground doing the figure 4. A little easier to get into that position. Getting up and down off the ground is a little bit more challenging, but if you really want to target that area, that's a good place to start. And we're actually going to do 2 times on each side here. So I went back to the first side. And we're going to go back to the second side. And again, all this time, just taking some nice, good breaths. They don't have to be deep. It's, you know, sort of whatever's comfortable for you. I like to take deep breaths sometimes. I find it helps relax me a little bit, stimulate that parasympathetic nervous system a little bit more. All right. So we just have a few more stretches here. I'm going a little over time, but that's okay. So I have band pull aparts here. This is not much of a stretch, it's more of an activation. So I'm just pulling the band apart at chest height. If you don't have a band, what I would recommend is hinging at the hips and just squeezing your shoulder blades with a nice neutral spine. We just want to activate our rhomboids, activate a lot of those back muscles, because they get heavily inactive throughout our day if we're not actively using them. Then we'll just finish off with 2 staples. We have our door frame. The arm just shoulder height. You know the drill by now. Been doing this for a year on camera for you guys, this exact stretch. For good reason. It's one that you just never take away. For all those reasons I listed before about us being so internally rotated. Want to make sure that we can open up, that we're a little bit more natural. We don't have unnecessary stress on our shoulders, on our spine, collarbone, throat. I'm just switching sides here. And if you have a door you can walk through, you can just do both at the same time. And I would suggest if you have that, like that door, you sort of do it every time you walk through, just as a little bit of a release. And we'll just finish off with our quick upper trap neck stretch. So make sure I'm on camera here. Right ear to right shoulder, pull down on the left arm behind the back. Just a quick 10 seconds. And again, the pull isn't much. It's just a little tension to facilitate that stretch. Left ear to left shoulder, pulling down gently on the right arm. And we'll just shake it out. Hope you guys enjoyed that stretch. I will see you next time. I hope you have a wonderful day.